Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Teja from Department of English, SR University. Today we are going to discuss about critical thinking and its standards. Now when we say the word critical, we often think that it's something negative that we are going to talk about. Or if someone says that I'm going to be critical about the assignment or the food that you made, for example, we think that they're going to say something bad about it. So that's what we think what critical is, but it's not the case all the time. Critically thinking is evaluating, identifying, or making a right decision using your cognitive skills. Now, clarity is one of the standards of critical thinking. Clarity is being clear or saying something that is understandable to the other person. When you're talking or when you're listening, you're trying to grasp the meaning, what the other person is saying. It when you're clear about something, it avoids ambiguity. It clears the ambiguity and gives you a proper gives you proper information about something. It does not uh, let the other person misunderstand what you're saying, because a lot of times we say something, we intend something, and there's the other person understands something, and again you have to explain saying this is not what I meant, this is what I meant. So the way we talk, if it's not clear, if it's ambiguous, then there is every possibility for the other person to misunderstand you or get the wrong information, which might lead to taking a wrong decision. So when you're talking, it's important that you clearly articulate or put across your point with right words. And also, when you're listening, if you do not understand something, you can always ask a question. I'm sorry, is this what you meant? Or could you elaborate on what you're saying? Which will not again make there will be no space for ambiguity. You will be clear about what you heard, what you understood, and when you ask a question related to that, or if there's a follow up question to understand what the other person said, that will lead to a clear conversation. And especially in arguments, if there is ambiguity, then you will not be able to think clearly or understand clearly. So, to avoid that ambiguity or the miscommunication that you will have, you should be clear about it. Clear about the facts that you're saying, or maybe the factual details, or if you simply say that the books over here are too expensive, right? So that expensive, your expensive might not be the same to the other person. You need to be more clear on what is the range of the books that you are talking about, and you need to, and if the other person is listening to you and he or she wants to buy a book from the same store, he needs to ask what is the range, what are the kind of books that are available, and what kind of books are expensive. So without understanding, or without you giving the right information or clear information about something, that person might end up not buying books from that place, or anything for that matter. If you say everything in this shop is expensive, no, whatever is expensive to you might not be expensive to the other person. Or if you say the products in this shop are not really good, so what are you talking about? Is it the quality or the size or the quantity? uh, Anything that could be that you're talking about, you should be clear about what you're referring to, so that the other person will understand, okay, he's talking about the price, he's talking about the particular product, or the quality or the durability of it. So he or she might understand when you clearly articulate it, when there's no ambiguous, or there's no miscommunication between you and the other person. Especially in arguments, especially when you're taking a decision based on the argument, or you're coming to a conclusion based on what the other person said or the statement that was passed by the other person. You also need to be clear about what you heard. If you think you have a doubt about what they said, if you're not sure about what they said, you can always ask a follow-up question. Could you please elaborate, or when you said this, what did you mean? What is expensive according to you? Or when you say this is not good, or that place is not good, nobody should go there, eat from that restaurant, what are you saying? What are you referring to? What is it that you did not like? So this clarity will give you information, and you will understand what the other person meant, or why did he say when he or she said it. Next standard that we are going to discuss is precision, which means giving the exact detail or necessary information in order to avoid confusion. So when we are talking about precision, it helps in understanding something better, especially in critical thinkers, or if you're inculcating a habit of thinking critically, it's important for you to have precision while listening and also while talking. So when you're talking, I think the best example that we can give for being precise or looking at the exact detail is Sherlock Holmes, where he is known for solving mysteries. Now, how can he do that? Is we all know his commitment toward the precision, which is overlooked by others. He tends to look at every little detail precisely and solve the mysteries. So that's how we need to look at something when we are asking a question. If you're generalizing and answering, or generalizing and saying something, that will not help you in drawing a conclusion or coming to a conclusion or making a decision. What really helps is answering to the point clearly without any irrelevant information or data that you have. So when you are giving or asking or being precise, it cuts through the confusion and makes everything clear, understandable. Um, there will be no way for miscommunication. You always have to be precise when you're asking a question. Let's say there's a problem that arises. You have to be precise and ask, okay, this is the problem that I'm facing right now. What is the alternative that I have? What are the advantages or disadvantages? If I go this way, what are the consequences? If I go another way and try something else, what will be the consequences? So in order to avoid all these problems, what exactly can be done? You look at the problem and you be precise about it. It always inculcate a habit of or insist on having precise answers for precise questions. Now, when somebody says my work is in progress, what is the question that you can ask? You can ask, okay, how much of it is done and how is it progressing? Which are the areas that you are progressing, and what is it that you need to do to progress in the other areas? Or if somebody says, I am my suggestion will help you, so you need to ask, what are the in what ways will your suggestion help me? If I follow your suggestion and do something, how is it going to help me? Or if somebody says that, okay, uh, this is the way that you have to follow. So if you're going in that way, where will it lead to? Where that's the question, or to be precise, where will it lead to? Why should I be going there? These are the questions that you should ask. To avoid generalizations, you need to be precise. Let's say, for example, somebody comes and says, okay, in that group, all the girls are arrogant. So what is the question that you can ask to be precise? Did you talk to all of them, or is it just just one person that you spoke to, and you were you felt that all of them were arrogant? Or what's the context that you spoke to, and what is the tone, or what is the kind of question that you asked, that they were that you felt they were rude to you or arrogant to you? So you need to ask before deciding, or drawing conclusions about somebody else. The first thing that you need to do is ask. Again, ask, and to be precise. Precisely asking questions will avoid a lot of confusion, a lot of generalizations. So, to be precise or ask, to have precision while you're talking is very important in critical thinking. Another important standard, one of the important standards of critical thinking is accuracy or being accurate, which means giving the right information. It highlights the importance of being accurate without any errors. Not just any information, but having the right information, timely, accurate information for the situation or in a particular context will help in making decisions or think critically. Especially when somebody claims something, it's very important for you to verify their claims. What is the source? How are they making that decision, or how are they making that statement? Just you somebody cannot just say it is said that. Who said it? Why is it said? In which context is it said? What is the time? So these are the things that you need to ask for accurate information. Well, let's say, especially in days like these, there's a lot of information available online on social medias, and which is most of the time unreliable. When you do not know the factual details or the source that it's coming from, then it is, you cannot accept it as something that is accurate, especially in this generation where you can create everything with AI. So you give a prompt and a video can be made. So how accurate it is, or how well it can be understood, or is it just a false information that is spreading, is what you need to understand. Also, let's say for example, especially when it's coming to film stars or movie stars, you a lot of my students are fans of a lot big heroes and stars, and they have I heard one of the student talking about fan wars, which means one fan of one star is attacking or always criticizing the other one, which might be true or not true, but they spread false information, criticizing or sharing videos. That video might mean something else, or it's always there are paths around the stars, and they might get irritated because of it, because of which they were angry at somebody, but that video is used to character assassinate or say that the star is very rude with his or her fans, and they're arrogant, they're never polite, and all that information which is not true. So you also need to understand where is this video coming from. Is it and what is the motive behind making this video? So things like that you need to understand. So when you are consuming false information, or um, information that is not true, or there's only half truth in it, then you will end up making um, bad decisions. Your decision will be based on the information that the false information that's at hand. That is why it's very important for you to understand the source and ask questions and be accurate about what this means. Why is it there? If somebody says this study says this, which is the study that they are talking about? Where is the source? Where is it coming from? Or they say this medicine cures all illness. So, which medicine cures and what is the study? Where is the source? You need proofs to validate. You cannot just simply agree to anything that is any information that is given to you, or you get to hear something and you can't believe. You need to be accurate. You need to verify the information that you're getting. That is very important. Also, what you can do is fact checking is something that you can do to verify if the source is reliable or not, if you're having the right information or not. Let's say, for example, you are trying to write a paper, a research paper, and you will look at the reliable resources, the books that were written by different authors, and the arguments and other things that are required to write a research paper. You will look at all of that and write, take their inputs from and references from other authors and other papers, and you form your own argument based on that. But you cannot just simply uh, just give information that's everything that is in your head. You need to fact check. There are factual details that are required, the sources that you need to verify for everything. The very simple example that I can give you is, if somebody comes and tells you that mm, this person is talking saying that you are not working, which might be true, but that statement was made in another context, right? This person is using to create a difference between you and them, issues between. Now, the question you need to ask is, yes, I said. Now, first, you have to confirm if you said you're not working or not, or your colleague is just saying that. If you said you will not work, then what is the context that you said that? You might be overworked and you're taking a break for this weekend, and you will not be working for the this upcoming task or assignment that's given by your superiors. It could be that, but the other person must be coming and telling that she or he, one of your group members, is saying that you're not working and you're very lazy and things like that. So this will create a difference between differences. This will cause differences, and you will end up misunderstanding each other. That is why you need to be accurate. Like we also discussed earlier, precision is also very important. Now, did that person say that I'm not working at all, or did that person say that I'm not working only this weekend, or did did that person say that I'm taking a break? So you need to ask questions like this to get the accurate information to avoid misunderstandings. Relevance. Now, what does relevance mean? To speak something relevant, important, that is connected to what we are discussing, to stay focused on the question at hand or the information at hand. What are we discussing? Let's say it's a debate that we're doing. So, in a debate, you cannot just talk about something random while you're talking about, if it's a debate about climate change. Let's say there's an example that is mentioned in the slide that says, in climate discussion, a local bakery sales are irrelevant. So speaking something irrelevant will not fetch you the purpose. There's no relevance to what you're saying when you're speaking something that is not relevant to the topic that the other person is discussing, or when, especially when you're in a debate, you start to speak about something that is not relevant, then it might digress, the topic might digress, and it take another turn, and you might end up talking about something else instead of climate change. Now, be staying focused is very important, and also you need to avoid distractions. One such There's one important rule that you need to remember, or one such trick that you need to remember that the other person is trying to do is, the debaters usually try and bring in something that is irrelevant but that is funny, and you end up, all the others end up laughing, and the seriousness or the logical relevance is lost, but you end up laughing, and it's very entertaining. One such example that I'd like to give is, in one of the books that I read, Abraham Lincoln in the court, while he was talking, the jury, the lawyer, the other lawyer, Mr. Logan, was wearing his shirt, not wearing his shirt properly, but he was in the court. They were discussing something, but then Abraham Lincoln tried to bring the attention of the jury, and how Mr. Logan wore his shirt, and everybody started laughing, and it was entertaining, and there was no um, it was not relevant, it was irrelevant, but then everybody else in the courtroom started laughing because it was funny. Now, the question that you need to ask here is that relevant to what we are discussing or debating now or arguing now? Is it part of the topic that we are discussing? If there is no logical relevance, then you can always say this is not relevant, and this is, we shouldn't be digressing from the topic. Please stick to the topic that we are discussing. Say something that is relevant. This is a trick that most of the debaters use to draw attention to trivial things, and the seriousness or the logical um, relevance and is lost. Now they start discussing about something else. This also usually happens in classes when we teachers are trying to say something serious, and there's one mischievous kid who starts talking about something random or something that is not relevant to the topic that we are seeing, and all the class ends up laughing, and then whatever we are seeing, there's no, they're not interested in that any longer, and they start discussing or start talking about something that is irrelevant for that situation or context. So when you're talking about something that is irrelevant, or somebody else in the debate, one of the members, debaters are talking about something, a topic that is irrelevant to the discussion that is happening, they are taking you away from what your argument, what you're trying to argue and come to a conclusion. They end up giving anecdotes, irrelevant anecdotes, or saying something that is irrelevant, asking an irrelevant question. So what happens when an irrelevant question is asked is, you might get carried away and start answering that question that is not relevant to the topic or the question or the discussion that is happening right now. You end up talking about something else, then you lose the argument because you're talking about something else. And when you are trying to make a valid point in a debate or in an argument, in a discussion, and something irrelevant comes up, and the others start talking about it, or all of them are involved in something that trivial or irrelevant topic that is involved, you forget, or you go away from what you're actually supposed to discuss. That is what some of the debaters do to not get you involved in saying or giving valid points in your debate. So sticking to what the topic is, or speaking something that is relevant, is very important, especially if, in again, like I reiterated, in critical thinking, while you're trying to understand what critical thinking is, how to critically think, relevance also plays a major role in making decisions. Now, what is consistency? Consistency is when you're doing something. Let's say, for example, you want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday. The whole week you woke up at 5. There is consistency in your sleeping or waking up pattern. And another kind of consistency is what you're saying, the principles or your beliefs that you have, and you are doing exactly the same thing. When you're doing it and you're saying the same thing, that is also a kind of consistency. Critical thinkers always look for inconsistency in both in what they're saying and what the others are saying while in arguments or debates or discussions. The two kinds of inconsistency can be logical inconsistency and practical inconsistency. In logical inconsistency, you end up saying something and you end up believing something. Take, for example, a person who says he is an atheist, right? It is not, atheist is someone who does not believe in God. But whenever necessary, or all of a sudden, he talks about God and how God works and how he has control over everything. So there's inconsistency in what he's saying and what he's believing. So that is logical uh, inconsistency. Another practical inconsistency is you're saying something, you say, I don't lie, you say, I hate lies, but when there's need, you are lying. Or you say, I hate corruption, and you're doing the same thing, and you're ending up doing something that you end up doing something that's related to corruption. Or you end up saying lies. You say you're a very sincere person, but you're also lying when it's convenient. So uh, there is inconsistency in what you're saying and what you're doing. And in most of the cases, let's say, for example, ask a person who is working, when someone who's working for their family, if you ask them, whom do you prioritize, is it your family or work, most of them might say that my family is important to me, I prioritize my family. But most of the time they end up working hard to provide for their family, and though they say that their family is important, or their loved ones are important, or their partners are important, their children are important, they are not spending time with what is important to them. They are not giving time to what is important, what they value. They are working hard professionally in order to become successful, and they so that they could provide to their loved ones. So when you look at it, there's inconsistency in what they're saying and what they're doing. They want to be with their family, but they're also forced to work because they have to provide for their family, and they want to give the best of everything. So they end up working hard, giving more time or prioritizing work, while the family members or children or partners are important to them. Now this inconsistency, might not be aware of what they're doing and saying. There's inconsistent patterns that they have in their life, they might not be aware, though they say that they value, they're not doing it. So critical thinking helps you understand, rationalize, and bring in this awareness of how inconsistent we are while we are saying something and doing something else. most of the people are not aware of their inconsistent patterns or inconsistency in maybe it could be logical or practical inconsistency, but they are not aware that they're not doing what they're seeing, what they're believing, or what they want to do. They end up doing something else. So this will critical thinking will help in understanding the inconsistency that they have, the patterns in their life, and to change it. In logical correctness, you try and find a valid reasoning. Your conclusions will follow from premises. You try to encourage identifying flaws in reasoning. Let's say, for example, all cats are mammals. Fluffy is a mammal, therefore Fluffy is a cat is logically incorrect. So the right way to put it would be all cats are mammals. Fluffy is a cat, therefore Fluffy is a mammal. Another example that we can think of for logical correctness is if we don't ban video games, all children will become violent. Now you should be able to ask, is there an evidence to support that this banning of videos will help in stopping violence? It definitely not. Like just because you ban video games does not mean the violence in the society or violence in general will stop. So this it's logically incorrect. Another example could be a student says if we reduce screen time, all students will perform better. Now, is there an evidence for that? That if you reduce screen time, you will be able to uh, perform better, or is there? Does that is there any study that says that because you reduce the screen time, there is the students performed better? So if there is no evidence, again, everything is interlinked. Like I said earlier, there should be precision, there should be accurate answer, and there should be no fallacies in it to understand the logical correctness. Like let's say, for example, if you say everything in that store is available for 99 rupees, she bought something from for 99, then then it would be then it wouldn't be expensive because everything in that shop is available for 99. Or you can also say the stores the apparel that is bought from a thrift store is used. This apparel that I got, or this shirt that I got from this shirt I bought is from a thrift store, which therefore it is used or recycled one. These are a few examples for logical correctness. Completeness in critical thinking, or one of the standards of critical thinking, it stresses on the importance of thoroughness in reasoning or communication. Like you need to have all the elements, all the details that are required when you're putting across a point, or you're giving factual details, but then you only gave half of it, and the other half you left out. So it will not be complete. It will not be complete without giving all the information or all the elements that are present in the argument. So let's say, for example, if you've tried a new drug, there was a drug trial, and you gave only the positive or positive side of it to the people, saying this is very good. But if you're not giving the negative or the side effects of it, then it's not complete truth. There's no completeness in it, which will be a lie. So providing a comprehensive view, or avoiding, you shouldn't be biased or prejudiced against something, and refrain from being biased, and give the complete information or give a complete or valid point to in an argument or discussion, or if there's an evidence that you're producing and you are just giving half of it, then it's not complete truth. So let's say, for example, there is a fest that is happening and you have given uh, the details, or you're presenting something but you're only talking about how good this fest is going to be, or you're presenting it to your management, your college management or authorities, and seeing that these are the positive points, how the students will enjoy, how it's going to be, how it's going to be a big hit, or there will be visibility because of this fest and all that. But you also need to talk about uh, the negative side of it, or if if it will be crowded, if there's going to be traffic jam or any other, or budget concerns, or if there are no sponsors, or if we can accommodate all the students from if it's an intercollegiate fest, then is it going to be, are we going to are we able to accommodate all of them, or you're just giving a positive picture of how it's going to be, and if you're not talking about the limitations or the drawbacks, then it's not complete truth. So the question that here we can ask is there another way to look at the evidence, or is there any like we discussed about the fest or the presentation that you're going to do, is there another perspective to it? What about the people who are coming in, or if you're conducting a competition, what about on the spot registrations? Are we going to is it allowed to uh, have on the spot registrations, or let's say uh, will we be able to accommodate the people who are registering on the spot, or what is the criteria, what is the fee for them to register on the spot, or what are the things that we can do, or if the prize money is already decided, then if there are more registrations, and will the prize money increase or will it stay the same? How are we going to divide? What is the budget? So all these things, if they are not discussed completely or in detail, then it's not a proper preparation for a fest. Or if you're talking about some problem, or you're trying to solve an issue, if you're only talking about the positives, or not just positives, let's say for example you're only talking about the negatives of it, or negative side of it, or side effects of it, or drawbacks of it, limitations of it, and not talking about the good that can happen when you take a decision, then it's not complete. You're not giving in all the details and all the information that is required. You're not giving the evidence that is required. Your estimation, evaluation, or the reasons that you're giving are all biased, then be it positive or negative. So to include both positive and negative side of an argument, or evidences or information, is very important to have a complete picture, or especially in critical thinking. While you're thinking, you need to know the positive and negative side of it. Like we say, a coin has both the sides. You need to listen to both the arguments or both the sides of it to come to a conclusion, to make a decision. So these are a few standards of critical thinking, and I'm going to make another video on barriers of critical thinking. So I hope you liked it, and I hope it's helpful for you. Thank you for watching the video.